Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Whitewater Township Board of Trustees meeting, October 16th, 2023. If I can ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer Breck, can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Pope?
Here.
Mr. Shively? And Mr. King?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, we need acceptance of the meeting minutes for September 18th, 2023 of our regular meeting.
I will make the motion to accept as read.
Do we have all the names in there correct?
Yes.
Jim? Okay, I will second. And voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope?
Yay.
Mr. King?
Yay. And acceptance of the invoices, I have reviewed them and I will so move on those.
And I reviewed them. I will second them.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope?
Yay.
Mr. King?
Yay. And our sheriff's report, sorry, I couldn't see you there.
That's all right.
Hey, come on up.
Evening, gentlemen.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Fall's coming. Bird's here, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Hill in here for Sergeant May again. Got the stats for September. I believe you all received an email from him with a copy of all this, but I'll give you just a quick breakdown of everything. There was one breaking and entering report, 5 theft reports, one of which was a motor vehicle theft, one identity fraud, one passing bad checks. Didn't know anybody still uses them things, but 2 criminal damaging, 1 domestic violence arrest, 1 protection order violation, 2 assaults, 1 telecommunication harassment, 1 discharge of a firearm on or near a prohibited place. Must have been off that night, I would have remembered it. 1 images of another person. I think that involved a text message of somebody sending something out. 9 aided cases, 6 other non-criminal, for a total of 32 reports, 20 of which were closed out, 12 are still active, and there was 29 reports taken in August. 23 auto accidents, 35 in August. There was a total call for service of 392 calls and 369 in August, which is a tad bit up. But it seems like the reports and arrests were down a little bit, but calls of services were up just a tad. That's about all I got. I can't really think of anything major that happened. Or
I don't have anything for you. You got anything for me?
I don't have anything to add right
Nothing.
now either.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Thank you
good
Since
very
work.
I'm
much for the
working,
report.
I'm going to go hit it.
Yep, absolutely. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to jump right into our public presentations that was requested to be on the agenda. We will have Mr. Jeff Croft. Is he up? Come on up and start sharing with us. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Nice to meet you as well. May it please the Board of Trustees. My name is Jeff Corf. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Galenas. We are a license holder under Ohio's current medical marijuana program. And the purpose of me being here today is really kind of an exploratory visit. We're interested in potentially siting a marijuana dispensary in the township if Ohio ultimately decides to adopt an adult use initiated statute this November. So the purpose of being here is just to give some more information about our company, kind of where we are, what we're situated with, and what ultimately the program is likely to look like if in fact issue 2 passes on the ballot in November. Can I control this from here, or are you going to be
No,
clicking me
I
forward?
have to
No?
do it for
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this is just a forward-looking statements disclosure, nothing important. Everything that I'm saying here is information to the best of my ability based on publicly available information, but I don't know that any of the numbers that I'm going to quote are going to be 100% accurate. So just to give an overview as to where the Ohio cannabis market is today, we have a medical marijuana program in Ohio that came into existence in 2016 after House Bill 523 was ultimately passed through the House, passed through the Senate, and then signed by Governor Kasich into law. We have approximately 170,000 active patients in Ohio today. Qualifying conditions under the Ohio program include conditions such as HIV/AIDS, cancer, IBS, Parkinson's. I believe the list is approximately 23. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that number is correct. Right now, statewide sales for our industry look like on an annualized basis will probably close out 2023 in the neighborhood of $465 million in total sales across the entire market. And today, as of today, there are 105 operational dispensaries, there are 36 cultivators, 46 processors, and 10 testing labs. By the end of the year, there are supposed to be about 130 dispensaries online. Whether or not that actually happens by the end of the year is a question mark, but that's how many licenses have been issued in the medical market. So what's happening right now is proponents have gathered enough signatures to get an issue on the ballot this November, which would create an adult use market in the state of Ohio. And adult use is just another word that means something like legalization of cannabis for anyone 21 and older. The campaign is called Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol. They've got a lot of information available on the internet in terms of what the initiated statute language looks like. As a company that also operates in Michigan, I can tell you that it is a much more controlled and regulated system that the proponents of issue 2 are seeking to set up than the one that exists in Michigan and a lot of other states. So this is not likely to be a program that looks anything like, the Wild West where anybody gets a license. I think it's almost certainly going to be the case that this ends up being a very controlled and regulated industry in our state, even after ultimately issue 2 passes, if it passes. Current polling suggests that it will pass. I've seen a lot of public polls as well as some private polls that have been done. I haven't seen support for the issue at lower than 58% approval rating. It needs just a simple majority to pass. Most of the polling that I've seen is somewhere in the neighborhood of 59 to 60%. Under the language of the initiated statute, under the language of issue 2, there will be some new licenses that get issued. Some of these are going to be social equity licenses that go to minority or disadvantaged folks, but some of them will go to the current license holders as well to get the program up and running. We, as a level 2 cultivator, that's the license type that we have, we would be awarded 1 dispensary license automatically. So we would not be in a competitive process in order to go out and try to get a license by winning it through. The first round was a merit-based application process. The second round was kind of a lottery. We would essentially not have to go through either one of those things. If the language of issue 2 ends up staying intact, we would automatically be granted a license, and we'd be looking for a home for it, essentially. So the way that the approval process works, or has historically worked in Ohio, there's 2 levels of approval: state approval and local approval. When we've gone around and sought state approval for different facilities, we typically are going and speaking to economic development folks or zoning boards, whoever's kind of charged with bringing new business into a community, and we're checking a couple of things. We're checking whether or not we're in an area where zoning is appropriate for what we're doing. If there's conditional use process that we have to go through, we've gone through a lot of those proceedings. And then once we get kind of local approval, whatever that looks like, we then historically would have to go to the state to seek approval for our final licensing. And there's a lot of restrictions on where these facilities can go at the state level. They can't be within 500 feet of a school or a church or a library or a daycare. There's a lot of things that we can't be near. And so you have to check all the boxes locally, check all the boxes at the state level, and then if you do that, maybe you win a license, again, in our case, we would already have one in hand by the time we got to this process. So there is a tax structure in place in the initiated statute. One of the reasons I keep saying if it goes into effect as it's currently written is because it might not. It's very possible that issue 2 passes on the ballot in November, and because it's a statute and not a constitutional amendment, that it potentially is going to be changed somewhat by the legislature after it passes. But under the assumption that the tax structure remains the same, this is kind of what it looks like. There are certain allocations of where the taxes collected will go for. There's essentially going to be a 10% flat cannabis tax rate that gets charged at the point of sale, meaning at the retail location, on top of any local sales tax, so it's not one or the other, it's both. And that 10% that gets collected, it gets divided up in a handful of ways. I won't go through and read all of them, but one of them is a reinvestment in the local communities that are quote-unquote the hosts for these locations. And so if we can go to the next slide, I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So under an assumption, and again, this is not necessarily real numbers, this is just sort of an example. If a dispensary does $5 million in annual product sales, $500,000 would be the 10% tax on $5 million in sales. 36% of that amount, or $180,000, would then be returned back to the municipality that hosts the dispensary. And this would be on top of real estate taxes as well as regular sales tax. So there's a couple different channels by which the local community stands to benefit from a tax-based standpoint by having and allowing these businesses to exist. And that's in addition to the number of jobs that these locations bring in. It always depends on what business level and volumes are, but I don't know of any dispensaries in the state of Ohio that have less than 10 employees, and some of them have as many as 30. And so depending on what the business level looks like, you could be looking at, 24 more jobs at any particular location. That's certainly possible. So we've gone through this process before. We have unfortunately not gotten any licenses in Ohio because it's been very competitive, but we have a lot of renderings and layouts and architectural designs and everything ready to go. The next couple of slides are just examples of what some of our renderings and plans would be for any particular location. Now, these are ones we've done in the past. These wouldn't necessarily be exactly what we would do if we were to put a dispensary in your jurisdiction, but it's hopefully the idea is that you'll see these are not bad-looking facilities. They're actually quite clean, quite new, contemporary. They're certainly some of the better-looking facilities in many of the locations where they exist in the state, and they're also extraordinarily secure. The requirements that we have on security are extensive in Ohio, and they make these facilities more like banks than anything. We have to have very secure vaults. We have tons of cameras on site. I can tell you that a dispensary that I'm familiar with that just opened up in the Cleveland area has something like 70 cameras inside of it, so it's quite secure and it's quite extensive, the regulations that we have to follow under the existing state rules. And so if you scroll forward, there's just a couple of other examples of some of the other renderings for potential locations that we've looked at. And these were put together based on existing facilities that we would look to retrofit as well as new builds. And so we have plans for both, depending on kind of what our options are with the property that's available. So this is an idea in sort of a strip mall setting. The other two would have been standalone facilities. But if you go one more forward, this is kind of a layout. I won't take the time to go through everything, but the pink triangles are cameras in this particular layout. The green circles are restricted access door code readers. And so, again, these facilities are tremendously secure, and access is restricted to employees based on need to be in any particular part of the retail location. So here are the statistics on adult use in states that already have a program. There are 23 states in the United States that have already opted to go adult use. Ohio would be the 24th. There are numerous studies out there that show cannabis is objectively safer than alcohol, less ripe for addiction, far, far fewer health consequences with cannabis. No one overdoses on cannabis, and it's significantly less addictive than alcohol and tobacco. The statistics are myriad on these particular subjects. I think one of the things that's important to remember is that issue 2, if it creates an adult use market, it's not going to create a cannabis market because we already have one. We have a black market in cannabis. It already exists. The state of Michigan estimates that outside of its regulated market, it's still doing something like $3 billion a year in sales on the black market. I would imagine Ohio is somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 to $7 billion a year in terms of black market transactions. So it's not a question of whether or not there is a market, because there is one. It's a question of whether or not it's regulated. Is there a market where the products that are being purchased are tested and controlled, and whether or not purity is something that consumers are concerned about? Certainly we want to make sure we're safeguarding people's safety. The only way to do that is to introduce controls in terms of what products are allowed to be sold and not have exclusively a black market that's supplying the entire consumer base. Available studies certainly do not show an increase in teen use after states pass adult use laws. That is across the board. There's no study that suggests that childhood use or teen use goes up when you end up in a regulated market. There's a lot of theories as to why that is, but the statistics don't bear out that this creates a higher risk to kids or children. And legalization has not resulted in increased crime rates in any state that has passed adult use laws. So we're not seeing more crime in any of the states that have done this. We're not seeing more teens or children having access to or using it. There is the off chance that kids get access to it by accident, but that's usually comes down to a parent being not as secure with the product as they probably should be. Otherwise, the statistics over 23 states are pretty clear that this is not sort of the boogeyman that it's been made out to be. When done in a regulated and controlled fashion, this can be an industry just like any other industry, and certainly one that is, I think, demonstrably quite a bit safer than the alcohol and tobacco industries. And with that, I open myself up to questions, absolutely. I've left some cards with the trustees if there's any follow-up that would like to be done after this. But again, the purpose of me being here is to kind of explore whether or not Whitewater Township would have any interest or inclination in order to host Galenas as a potential site for a dispensary if, in fact, issue 2 does pass in November.
Any questions, Will?
I do not have any questions right now. I don't know enough to ask any questions.
Right.
I'm still in that learning.
It was, it's insightful. I'm not going to sit here and say no or not, but we do have information for you. I guess these are the cards here, Jim. That,
Yes.
If we have questions, we can reach out and probably touch base with you. Jim, you got any questions or anything you want to?
No, I've been talking with Jeff for a month now about this, and
I did today. So I came down today specifically for this meeting, and I spent about 2 hours going around the locations that we might be interested in. I did note there was a facility that was already approved for a medical dispensary here, and I didn't realize that facility was here, but I'm familiar with the ownership of that location. And so despite the fact whether or not you decide that you are interested in working with us, those folks are definitely going to be in contact because I know the ownership there, and they're going to be motivated to move forward as well.
I know other than Jeff has been very good at giving me information. I told him I thought you would like to hear a little bit about how this was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he agreed to come this evening. So
Sure.
Jeff, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We
Very-
are an open book. Again, I'm more than happy to answer any questions and follow up. Our operation is in Akron, Ohio. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning of this. I came here straight from there. We were the first organic grow facility in the state of Ohio. We're now only one of 2, and we're incredibly clean. We run what is essentially a laboratory type environment, and so it is not like someone growing in their garage or basement. This is a highly controlled, regulated industry.
We do have a question out here. I'll repeat it, so.
Can an adult use dispensary and a medical dispensary be in the same area?
Yes, they can. In fact, under issue 2, if it passes, all of the existing medical marijuana dispensaries would be grandfathered into the adult use program, and so they would essentially own both licenses. So there's no restriction on medical and adult use coexisting.
So the question was, can a medical facility operate in the same area as a adult location? And the
They
answer
would
to that
become-
was yes.
They would become one and the same.
They would become one and the same. There are, without going into a lot of detail, under the existing language of issue 2, if it were to pass and stay the same as it is currently written, there will be some dispensary locations that are only adult use, and there will be some dispensary locations that are both, meaning if you currently have a medical marijuana dispensary license, you'll be automatically grandfathered into the adult use program, and then additional adult use only licenses would also be issued.
Okay. And just so you know, so it's not a waste of your time coming all the way from Akron, by no means, I'm definitely going to talk with Jim, and I don't know how I really can't talk with the other trustees about, so I don't think you wasted your time coming
No.
here, and it's a no, but it's definitely interesting, and I'd like to do a little more research on it and let Jim know, and he could be your point of contact and reach out to you.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. I'm happy to come down here as many times as
Yep.
y'all folks would like to have me. I understand that this is a topic that's new, and in a lot of cases,
Yep.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions around it, and sometimes people are afraid of it. And so I think just having discussions, making sure everybody understands what the facts are is probably the most useful thing to do. So I'm happy to have those conversations, whether it's on the phone or by email or in person. So whatever helps.
I think either way, one of us will be reaching out to you, because the two of us, Jim and I, do the economic development for Whitewater. So either way, we'll be reaching out to you and with more questions, and as the other trustees have some.
Okay, great.
right. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Very much
it.
appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Diane has-
Oh, so,
Just a quick question, if it does pass and there is a facility open, how do you sell that? Can you just walk in like you would a liquor store and buy as much as you want? Or is there a limit to how much you can purchase in a store like that?
So-
Or that needs to repeat the question.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Diane's question is, how do you sell it? Do you just go in and buy it like you would alcohol, beer or something, or is there a limit, or how does that happen?
So the answer to the first part of your question is yes. If you're over the age of 21, you'll be able to go in, show an ID, and make your purchases. I want to say the limit that I believe is currently written in the statute is something like 2.5 ounces of flower product per person. I think that's right, but I have to imagine that there will be a lot of subsequent regulations written around exactly what that means in terms of like other products that are out there that aren't just flower products that don't necessarily make sense to weigh in terms of ounces. So the Department of Commerce in the state of Ohio would be the primary regulator in this industry. The entire control over the program is by virtue of the statute given over to them. I think that's something that almost certainly will not change. And so if issue 2 passes, the Department of Commerce is going to be the agency that's writing the rules here in Ohio. So yes, there is a limit. Don't quote me on exactly what I just said. I think I'm right about 2.5 ounces, but there's a lot more rules that have to be written, and which the agency will write. If this passes in November, they've got until July of 2024 to get all the rules written and promulgated and hold all of the public information hearings in order to get them published and make them effective.
All right, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Okay, so next we have, Tom, you want to come up for the Rumpke? We'll give you guys the floor.
Well, good evening. My name is Tom Turciano. I'm the new area public affairs manager for Rumpke, and I have JT Westerfield, our landfill manager, here as well. And we just really wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the happenings at our Bond Road landfill, and then also address any questions that you might have. So briefly, we really want to talk about upcoming site work, and also give you an update on the front entrance project. So as far as the upcoming activity, so first off, we do have staff members on site regularly. They're ensuring the site maintains the regulatory compliance. Our job is to protect the environment from society's waste. So we're always checking the sediment ponds, the leachate collection systems, and the water wells. That's just a mandatory thing that we're there frequently doing. This year, we'll also be doing some additional work to our leachate storage area to basically help improve the efficiencies. If we go to the next slide. So in 2022, we added 2 additional 20,000 gallon frac tanks to the site to increase the leachate storage capacity to 120,000 gallons. So the increased storage allows us to increase the length of time needed before collection. Heavy rain events could still trigger the need for an after-hour service or collection. This year, we're completing maintenance to reorganize the placement of the 6 frac tanks that we have on the property. And so we'll reorganize the configuration. And while we're doing that, we're also going to be doing a little bit of site work, basically some dirt work to prepare the area so it's ready to have those tanks move. So we anticipate that this work will probably start in the coming days, and so we expect, depending on the weather, about 2 months to complete that project. Again, the weather is, it's all contingent on the weather and how long, and the rain and everything else that we deal with. So as far as like future plans, right now we really don't have a timeline for the construction of the commercial drive leading into the landfill. At this point, we don't anticipate any additional work on that in 2024. But as timelines change or things happen, we're certainly going to be giving you guys updates as we are here tonight. We just want to keep you in the loop so then you're always advised and you don't hear it elsewhere, you hear it right from us. So JT, he's the marvel behind a lot of the project work, and he can answer any specific questions, or I'm happy to attempt it, but JT is our expert in this line.
Yeah, JT's been here a few times, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you have anything to add, JT?
No, so the only thing I'll say, we mentioned some dirt earthwork that'll be taking place. So with that also, you'll probably see some concrete trucks moving out. We're going to basically doing some concrete work, some concrete foundation work. So you'll probably see those vehicles moving in and out of the facility as well.
Yeah, that's good to know, just in case somebody comes ask us why they're going in there, so go ahead, Will.
And that work will be up closer to Bond Road area. It'll be in and out of the Bond Road entrance.
Yeah, where the tankers kind of come in and out of that entrance currently, it'll be that same exact entrance right there.
So as far as your appearance to the public, nothing's really going to change for the next year.
We don't have it. Yes, that's correct. We don't have any plans to do anything in 2024 at this
Okay.
present moment.
Okay.
Okay, all right. You have anything? No. No, thanks for keeping us up to date. That's,
Yeah.
that does help.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because we'll get questions every once in a while, and I'll be like, JT hasn't shown up, told us anything lately. So,
Well, here's what I just offer you guys. If you hear something,
Yeah.
or you have a question, you have my card, you have JT's contact, you have Bill Rumpke,
Yep.
you have his contact information. Please call us.
Right.
We would rather be transparent, upfront with what's going on. If you hear
Yep.
things, sometimes stuff comes to you, and you start to think, did this really happen? Did it not? Just call us, because we'll tell you and give you the true update of what's happening with us.
Yep,
So-
we do appreciate it. We appreciate when you guys show up, because it's easier for you to
Absolutely.
give the information straight to everybody.
No
so.
doubt about it. So,
All right, well, thank you, guys.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to grab that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Much appreciate your time. You guys have a great evening.
All right, you too.
Thank you, too.
Third on our public presentation, we have Eric Thompson. Eric, you want to come on up here and take the hot mic for us?
Jim, we're done with the screen here now, right?
Yeah, you can.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
All right. I'm a little nervous here. This is the first time I ever
you're
came
okay.
to a city council thing before here. I bought my first house 10 years ago in this community off of Lincoln Street. I love the area. Everything's been all right until probably about 4 years ago, and somebody, I guess, moved into this property next to me, and it's completely destroyed. There's garbage all over the place. There's no running water, electricity, septic system. Public health has been informed about it. They have condemned the property. I've called you guys before. I'm not quite sure who I've talked to, multiple times. They just keep referring it to the public health, Hamilton County Public Health, and they said they did all they can do, and it's to the prosecutor now. And talked to fire. This guy I've talked to, he was just recently out there today. I called because I wasn't sure on what the fire code laws are, because literally there's just trash all over it, and then he's burning wood or something inside this little RV trailer, and it's not even a wood burning stove. It's like I said, I'm worried about my property getting caught on fire. I'm sure there's illegal activities going on. I see homeless people going in and out of the property all day. I'm just at a loss, and this is all I know of really else to come and try to get some help with this situation.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're doing the right thing by coming here. I can tell you that. We have others in the township as well. Outside of yours, we have other complaints same way. But you did already report this over to the public health?
Yeah, it's been almost a year now, and they said that their hands are tied now because they did everything they can. They can't physically remove the person, and they told me that they sent it over to their prosecutor, but nothing else has been done. And it's just, like I said, I'm fear of my health is, you know what I mean, living next to he's dumping his waste into the ground right next to me. Like I said, the fire's now a big concern. He has caught his place on fire before, and he don't have running water, so I was like, what? I don't know. I'm at a loss here, guys.
Yeah, definitely if there's a fire issue, you have to make that phone call.
Yeah, and I did, but then he was telling me that, what was it, since it was unzoned, you said that I couldn't.
Unfortunately, we're very... You want to come up to her, Troy?
Unfortunately, it being residential, we're very limited on what we can do on the fire code side, because fire code's written for commercial properties. So on the residential side, we kind of more gravitate towards the sheriff's office EPA section or the public health department, where you're already going down those channels. So I feel your discomfort there. So
yeah, not to put Troy, not to put you in a bad spot. And what I was going to say, also, you need to make sure you're calling 911 and police dispatch on that. Yeah, every single time. Well, I still think you need to call to make sure that's known.
Well, like I said, the health department said that, nobody's supposed to even be on the property at all because it's all condemned.
Right.
But, if I call the cops, they just tell the people to leave, and then they come back, and then.
Right.
The important thing with calling the police is not that I realize we need them to show up and do what they can, but when somebody asks records, how many times were police called, how many times were they dispatched to that address? They'll have record of your calls.
Correct.
And that's an important number to have. Yeah. The number of calls is important. So every time you do have an issue, call on it and report it.
It's not wasting the resource. So that's where I feel
No,
like, you know what I mean? Because nothing's
no,
being
it's-
done. So it's like, why do I keep calling?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm,
Yeah,
wasting
yeah.
resources. and
Having record of those calls is very important when we try to help
Yes.
out or try to do things. That's pretty important.
I was just going to say, sounds like another perfect opportunity to go to the Port
Port
Authority.
Authority, that's what I was thinking
And,
here too.
We've been somewhat successful with another problem property, and
How,
Yeah, I think we just get the address.
yeah, what's the
Jim.
address of the property?
10961 Lincoln Ave, North Bend, Ohio.
10961 Lincoln.
Lincoln Avenue.
Like I said, I have called the EPA
Yeah, just
too.
speak into that mic.
I have called the EPA too, and they were like pretty much like it's public health thing. So
Yeah, we will look at some things from our end. Obviously, we cannot go down there and remove them. But please make sure you make those phone calls.
I mean, I'd just be calling every day because he's not
Whatever
supposed to
you
even
need
be
to
living
do,
there.
You're right, that's what it becomes, but, you know, you still need to make the phone calls because they're gonna be recorded. And as we move forward, if we can, you know, we're gonna want record of that.
Okay.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And for your safety and everybody else to still make that phone call.
Right.
I work in the arena, so trust me, make those phone calls.
Okay.
They are recorded and they are documented.
Okay.
Okay? Because there is a new system out where you will get calls back and say, how was our response time and stuff like that. So a whole lot of new information is coming out of that. But please, for your own sake, make the phone calls. And whether it's our fire department or whatever, it's better to have it and for them guys to come and say, we can't be there than not, okay?
Okay.
Leave that up to them instead of you saying, oh, I'm just wasting my time. I'd rather you not feel
Well, I feel
that
like I'm
way.
wasting, the cops'
No.
time and everything else
No,
because they
that's-
can't do
that's-
anything.
That's what all the folks do for a living. No,
Okay.
you're not. So I
Okay.
do not want you feeling that way. It's not your fault, but, you got to take care of what you have first,
Okay.
okay? Just do not take it into your own hands and allow these folks to take a look at it. And we can follow up. How do you want to do that? Do you want to just follow up with Mr. Thompson on this or what?
Let me check with the inspectors down at the Board of Health and see where we're at with it and with Nifong at the prosecutor's office. And see if, one of the things that's happened with the property on State Route 128 is this is really one of the first times that the Port Authority and the Health Department have worked together.
Right.
Excuse me. We were starting that program before COVID, and like a lot of things with COVID, it got sidetracked. So I can tell you that everyone at the Board of Health is excited about working with the Port Authority to move some of these cases along where it's hard to find the owner. I'm guessing probably the person living there isn't the owner.
I think he is the owner. Someone gave him the property.
Okay. Now that makes it easier if they can find him, because then he can be served. So let me check with them, and then we'll...
I have your phone number on here.
Okay.
Instead of you coming back every meeting, maybe we can reach out.
yeah,
That'd be great.
I'll let you know what I find, and between Peggy and I and the board, we'll keep you up to date on
Okay.
what's going on.
Okay, great.
But you are welcome to come anytime.
All right.
Yeah, you
appreciate
can come whenever. We'll put you back
And
up
it's kind of
here.
interesting. I've never been to one of these
Looks like
before.
you're getting comfortable up there talking anyway, so.
It's all good.
No, but thanks for coming and letting us know,
All right, great.
okay?
All right, appreciate
All
you
right,
guys.
thanks, Eric, okay. Anything else on that, Willie?
I do not.
Okay. Let's see what we have next. We'll go into our township reports, Chief. Yeah, we could do Josh's. We'll do maintenance department, which looks like that's going to be me. Let me find that here. Okay, here's what Josh has on the maintenance report. Hooven Hill. Josh has received a call from Justin Weber stating there was damage on Hooven Hill. 2 light posts and a catch basin was broken over the weekend. Josh has fixed the catch basin and cleaned up the light posts, which we are not going to replace. Josh will eventually be removing the rest of the light posts in Hooven, being most are broken or missing. Josh has reported this to the sheriff, and a report was made. Fall cleanup. The fall cleanup was a huge success. We had 63 participants, 34 had hazard items, and filled 4 trash dumpsters at a cost of $3,058.80. Compared to the spring cleanup, We had 59 participants, 28 tire loads, and filled 28 tire loads and filled 3 tire dumpsters donated from Keep Cincinnati Beautiful, 8 trash dumpsters at a cost of $5,663.68. Josh said he would like to thank Hamilton County Resource for choosing us as a host community for the hazardous waste cleanup. They received a grant to put on 3 events, and we were one of the communities chosen. With the turnout we had, they are in hopes we can do this again next year if funding is available. We also would like to extend many thanks to the crew, Clean Harbor, who collected and removed all the hazardous waste. That's Josh's report. Willie, you have anything on that?
I have a little bit on it, but I'll do it in the We Thrive
Okay.
report here in committee.
Okay.
Yeah, committee reports.
Chief, you want to go now?
Was that a question? Do I want to, or
How you doing, Chief?
not too bad? How's everyone this evening?
Good.
Whoops.
Better than your phone.
All right, our emergency run total for the month of September 2023, we had 88 EMS details with 93 patients, 50 transports, and 58 fire details. That was a total of 136 details for the month of September, bringing our run total for the year to 1,184 runs. I'll skip through the next couple sections unless you have any questions in there. Our staffing for the month of September, no station closures, and 100% of our shifts were covered by Whitewater Township Fire Department paramedics. And there were no 12-hour shifts without any of our paramedic coverage. And as always, we still are using WestJAD as supplemental paramedic coverage. We do have we have 2 new part-timers that have started their orientation as of today. And I have 2 part-time applicants that are waiting on medical or physical results. And I have 2 more interviews that I'm getting ready to conduct. So since the passage of the MOU last month, I've received about 10 requests for applications, for part-time applications. So that has definitely spawned some interest in our part-time employment. And some of the applicants do have more than 10 years of experience. 2 of the applicants were former employees that went on to other full-time jobs at other fire departments. And they're looking to, they're expressing their interest to come back for part-time employment.
That's good. Good.
So during the remainder of October, the crews will still be out on the roads checking hydrants for the fall and winter. And basically what this is doing is just draining the hydrants, making sure that there's no water in them so they don't freeze once the temperatures start to fall, and clearing the weeds around them and basically lubricating the caps. And also later this month through the rest of October and November, we'll be doing some hose testing. So you may see our crews on the Chevron Tri-Hydro property over on 128. They've graciously allowed us to use their property for the last several years for hose testing. It keeps all of our equipment secure, keeps us out of the way, so the crews can safely do that. And if they have to go on a run, we just close the gate behind us and all the equipment and everything stays secure. So we graciously thank them for allowing us to do that again this year. And with the cold weather moving in, just a good reminder to make sure you check your furnace filters before you turn them on. If you have wood-burning fireplaces or wood-burning stoves or anything in your house, make sure to check those flues and that they're clean before you fire those up for the year. And also, Halloween's coming up at the end of the month. Just a reminder, slow down if you're in those neighborhoods where trick-or-treaters might be. You never know when one's going to dart out into the street. So just take your time, slow down, and be careful in those areas. That's all I got, unless you have any questions.
I do not. Thank you, Chief.
Right.
You got anything?
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. Okay, looks like we now have the community center.
You may take that.
Yeah, would you read that for me?
I'll do that
All
for you.
right, I appreciate it.
Community Center report for September. Euchre during the weekdays 60 attendance. Euchre Friday night 75. Chair volleyball 60. Bluegrass 96 for a total of 264. Rentals for September we had 2 shelters and 1 center. And just a reminder of programs available at the center: chair volleyball, euchre, bluegrass, and country music nights. Call 367-6046 for more information. As always, we're looking for more ideas and programs. And just a reminder to everybody, residents and non-residents, this beautiful center we have here, we have a lot of dates open for, you can schedule it for holiday parties, activities, showers, wedding receptions, what have you, family reunions. I know I've used it 2 or 3 times and it works great. So just a reminder that this center is available for rent at a very reasonable rate.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Pope. We'll go into our committee reports. We got the Whitewater Township Regional Water and Sewer District. Jim, you want to do that?
I will. After checking with the Township Legal Counsel and the Legal Counsel for the Sewer Board, you had approved, contingent on there not being any legal issues, reducing the number of board members from 5 to 3. You probably already know this. It's in the bylaws for the sewer district. They had to agree to do that as well, so they did at the last meeting, or we did. So that board now stands at 3 members. I think the agreement with everyone was if we have people interested who would like to be on that board, we will gladly go back to a 5-member board. And if anybody's interested, contact me, contact one of the trustees, or Peggy. We would love to have more people interested. Other than that, the 128 easement process is going good. And the Buena Vista Drive project is now being reviewed again by MSD. So,
Okay.
in a nutshell, that's what's going on.
Good.
Next meeting is next Tuesday here at the Community Center, 7 o'clock. It's open to the public. And anyone interested, we're glad to have you.
And that's every 4th Tuesday of the month, correct?
Correct.
Every 4th Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock. Okay. All right. You got anything for?
I have nothing to add for that.
Okay. Economic development. I don't really have anything new. I know we got Skyline. It's moving along down there in Miami Town. Unless you have something new.
Now, the letters went out to the school districts.
Yep.
You know, the Southwest building, their actual building that they're retaining is up and looking really good. I think I said last meeting that rather than have to TIF that entire parcel at one time and starting the clock on that David Selhorst agreed to go ahead and cut his parcel off from the rest. And so we could start on his, but not start the clock on the entire thing. So it'll be a little bit of extra cost to them, but he was glad to do it for the township.
Okay. And
Excellent.
that's good to hear.
Yeah, being a good neighbor.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and it sounds like, we could have other economic development. That stuff just pops up every year, so hopefully by first of the year, we have some other new information. Next, we have We Thrive, and you have something on that?
Yeah, we met just for a debriefing on cleanups and where we stood this year to fill let the Board of Health representatives know where we're at. And so we had Peggy gave the recap, which we already read in Josh's report on the spring and fall cleanups, which were very successful. And we're hoping that the next community cleanup will be on Saturday, April 27th. That's our normal time, but that's pending board approval. Sharon gave a recap on the, Sharon Lutz gave a recap on the spring roadside litter cleanup. There was 28 volunteers that gathered 3 truckloads of litter and tires and debris. On a date of Saturday, April 20th, 2024 was discussed for the next roadside litter cleanup. And Nicole with the Board of Health said she would keep contacting, keep Cincinnati Beautiful regarding some more tires that we had piled up that came out of the river and alongside Lawrenceburg Road. See if we can do anything with them. We noted that they're still taking water samples from 3 locations along the Whitewater River, with a total of 70 sampling sites in the lower Great Miami watershed. She did add that additional sampling sites have been added along creeks in Whitewater Township to achieve a baseline, just so we know where we're at with the landfill moving in, make sure we stay good with that. And there was a discussion regarding the safety on the Whitewater River down at the Miami, where we had another fatality down there a couple, 3, 4 weeks ago. We're discussing possible ways to talk with the park about if we can gain any more access points, because they had the emergency services had a tough time finding a place to put a boat in to look for the person that lost her life there. So we that was discussed, and we're going to try to see if we can figure out a way to help out the emergency services with that and work with the park. And well, I kind of summed it up pretty good. It was a busy meeting, but it was went real well.
Okay, and you're going to hold these meetings?
The next one will be actually there is a the next meeting will be Monday, February 12th at 6 p.m. and that meeting will probably be here, but we will. The last meeting we just had at my house because it was quick and informal because we had to work around a bunch of schedules.
Do we post those on our website, those meetings?
We haven't, but we can.
Probably
yeah.
should.
Normally the ones, yeah, everybody is welcomed and encouraged to come. Just this last one we had to. The reason that we did it kind of quickly is because Nicole is moving out of our Board of Health contact is moving out, and we have a new girl, Catherine Lusky, coming in, and it was that transition. We wanted to meet them real quick, and that's why it was a quick meeting.
All right. Okay. All right. Next we have solid waste. I do not have anything on that, so that's something that if Trustee Shibley has something he can do next month. West Jad, Willie, got anything on the West Jad?
West Jad did meet Thursday, this past Thursday, and we discussed paramedic salaries, and everything's going good with them. The staffing levels are good, and the board appointments, almost everybody on the board is going to be rolling over this year, so we will have to figure out our Jim, that's 3-year, right, isn't it? Patty was a 3-year appointment? 4, okay. Patty's 4-year term, and it will end at the end of this year, as Crosby Township's 4-year appointment ends at the end of this year. And then the 1-year term, we need to appoint somebody for that, so we really need to discuss that and see what we can do and then talk about it at the November meeting. So, Jim, you and I can discuss that, and Doug, and you and guide you.
Okay. All right.
So,
All right, sounds good. Let's jump in, because I want to kind of elaborate on that when we hit new
Oh,
business anyway.
yeah, and let me say the next meeting for West Jad is January 4th at 5:30 p.m.
Okay. We'll jump right into old business. We had the Hamilton County Sheriff Department meeting for the Western Townships meeting. I think that took place on the 13th, was that right?
Friday.
On the 13th, which was Friday. Trustee Shibley spearheads that, so I'm not going to touch that till he's here next month. And I'm going to let him review this, and then he can share that in the November meeting. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it, so I'm not crossing things up. I do not think he went to that meeting, but I'm sure they're going to be relaying the information to him. So I'm not going to read this here, what I got in front of me.
Yeah,
First time I've seen it myself, so I'll make sure, Jim, if you can let Trustee Shibley know to review, unless you got something you want to add on to it.
No, what the trustees have here is information that one of the assistant administrators at Hamilton County sent to me late this afternoon. It was already on our agenda. I had called her and said, if you have anything that I can share, since Guy couldn't make that meeting, please send it. So I just gave it to you for your review.
Okay.
So,
And again, I think in fairness to Trustee Shibley, we'll give him time to review it. You know, it's hard to throw something out when you're talking the big department like Hamilton County Sheriff sitting up here and throwing it out when we just received it this day. I think Rumpke understands that too. It's hard to just kind of throw things out there. To be fair to Trustee Shibley and Trustee Pope, I think we just need time to review it, and but things are coming on that. So
yeah, I don't want to talk about something I don't know anything
me
about
either.
yet.
I don't want to jump in it because I'm not sure. I haven't even had time to read it myself. I just sat down and saw it. So, and you can ask our chief. That's kind of tough, isn't it, chief?
it was on the agenda before I received the information.
Yeah. So
just to talk about that they had
Yeah.
the meeting. So
yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump into new business. Jim, we got this resolution on the new business for, it's a 2023-12. I did look over that. I don't know if Willie has anything, but I have no issue. Go ahead and moving on that resolution.
I have no problems with moving on it also.
Okay, all right. Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
All right.
Can I go ahead and move forward while you're writing?
Yes, you can.
Okay. The next one on new business, we got the West Jad appointments and everything, and I know Trustee Pope already addressed that. So we need a 1-year appointment for West Jad, and we need a 4-year appointment. But also at the same time, you heard Fiscal Officer Brett talking about, we have a water and sewer district that I sat on for almost like 20 years or something. And we need folks in the township, if they want to get involved in any of this, to step up. I think that's why I think it's important we post things on our website so people can see when these meetings are. Every one of these meetings you can go to. None of these meetings are closed doors. We're not holding anything from anybody. That's West Jad and everything, correct? Mm-hmm. You can go to any of these meetings. Go on our website and look and see when these meetings are. I encourage people to come to the township trustee meetings, you know, and listen to what's going on in the township. And we need people to step up to join some of these committees. It's very interesting. We have a lot of development taking place in Whitewater Township, and it's better for you to be on the front end of it than the back end. Because I get it when I'm cutting my grass. I got to stop cutting my grass because everybody's got these questions that we've been discussing for 3 months. So and I get that. But if anybody's interested, any of your neighbors, and I think, Peggy, we keep posting this, I would rather have a 5-man board. But, you know, we can't do a 5-man board because if we only have 2 show up, we can't hold a meeting. That's why we went to 3. So, you know, if anybody's interested, please jump in and reach out to our administrator, Peggy Westerfeld, and ask questions. Okay? Yes, Diane. Thank you.
At one point, there was a conversation about allowing people on the board outside of the township. Did that go anywhere, or it's just strictly within the township?
Whitewater Township.
Okay,
You have to be a
That's state statute.
state statute, you have to be a resident of Whitewater Township.
okay.
A resident, not a business owner. You have
Yeah.
to be a resident of Whitewater Township.
With having said that, in order to be on a board, you have to be a resident, vote in the township. However, to be able to participate, give advice, be heard, be seen, everybody's welcome and encouraged to be here. Business owners, property owners, homeowners, whomever, even if you're not a resident, you're still encouraged to come and be heard, be seen.
Cellhorse Equipment Services is an excellent
Excellent.
example of that.
Well, another excellent
Because-
example's the Rumpkes.
Yeah.
Right.
Big landowners in the township and come and participate.
Yeah, David Cellhorse comes to almost every sewer
Right.
district meeting, and because of that, and because of his keeping up on things, when he found out that we were going to have to TIF the entire area at one time, that's when he called and said, "I'll cut my parcel off so you don't have to do that." So, so people that are interested in the township and have, the best intentions, like the Cellhorse Company.
And Mindy,
Mindy, yeah.
excellent example of someone being very involved, works very hard for our township. And we need more people like that to step up.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into something because I have something I want to share that was actually going to go under, well, actually, I'm going to put it under new business since we're talking about it and looking for people to step up. Jim and I met with O'Rourke over there in Hooven about the school area. We've been having a lot of kids down there playing on that playground where O'Rourke owns that, and that's an insurance deal. And I know this is the first time for Peggy and Willie, but you guys know I've been trying to reach out to them, and Jim and I met with them. And according to what I was just told, Mike O'Rourke is looking that he's going to surrender that. He's willing to. We need to sit down and talk about it. That whole playground area over to us for what I heard was $1 a year for at least 10 years. And then we would get the ball field and the swings and all that. And because I think there's bigger plans coming down the road. And again, I can't speak for them, as they're going to end up removing all that school and everything anyway, and then keep the land. So, but these are just folks in the neighborhood. He just says, he wants to be a good neighbor, and the kids are down there. The kids were playing football, and when I left Hooven, they were already down there. My wife looked at us, and they're down there playing football again. And he's been cutting the grass. He's been trimming everything up. They've been staying on a little bit more. I've been asking them. They went down and redid all the swings for them, even though he knows but he's trying. And but also I had to tell them the things they probably should be tearing out as well, because it was a little hazardous, so they did. So, Peggy? Yeah, that's something we would deal with. Yeah, that's just something he's doing on his time. So that's something, these are just the things we're saying of trying to get people involved in the township. It's bigger than just us sitting up here and trying to give our fire department and the chief wanting a new fire truck and stuff like that. It's your township. You got Rumpke here, you got O'Rourke trying, you got Cellhorse. These are businesses that are in our township that's trying to work with us and not against us, So I think it's just some good ideas under new business, and I know we probably ought to move forward with this. Jim and I will meet again with the O'Rourke situation, how we want to do it. I'm sure there's going to be attorneys needs to get involved, but that's what was just told to me. When did I call you last? Friday? I don't know, probably about a week ago. I called Jim and said, here's what Mike O'Rourke is offering. And he thought our meeting was last Monday, so he called me. I think it was a Sunday night. I think he called me on a Sunday night after the football game. So obviously, we have football games over at my house, which all of the Rumpkes are invited as well. So we got a portalet there. We block off the alley. So But all of his crew's always invited. Now, they don't show up, but they're always welcome, and they get to see the kids do wiffle ball and football and all that over in the schoolyard, so. Okay, so just kind of all under new business, and why I think we need to start making sure we post these times. And Jim's on that sewer board. You're talking millions of dollars being spent. You know, I've always said that when I was on that sewer board, I spend more money on that water sewer board than I ever did sitting up here. That's a lot of money in that water sewer and developing this township. You know, same way with Jeff coming in about the dispensary. That's all development that's coming our way, whether we want it or not, it's coming. Okay, and that's where Whitewater's heading towards. You know, it's definitely growing.
Yeah, just to say again, the State Route 128 sewer project between I-74 and Indiana Oxygen is a $10 million project. And we were able to get $5 million committed from Hamilton County from the American Recovery Act Fund. So we need to thank our county commissioners and the county administration for working with us on that. And then the sewer district was able to take that and parlay that into the remaining $5 million cost to an Ohio Water Infrastructure Grant. So that's $5 million that doesn't have to be paid back either. So we're going to get the sewers there, and it's going to be affordable, and it's going to be done right, and that should open up the area for development. So.
Do we have, because there's a couple more I want to get to us, is there anything else under new business that anybody wants to throw out, Willie, or that you can think of?
I don't have anything.
Is there any public comments? I know a lot was thrown out. I just thought the timing was right with everybody being here, Rumpke and the guy with dispensaries, and we had Eric show up, and we try to help. We can only do so much, but we'll try anything and anybody. If you bring something, we're just not going to turn you away. But we'll do the best we can. But our hands are kind of tied too. Would you have any other comments? I have a couple if you want me to go.
No, go ahead.
Because there's going to be no executive session, right, Jim?
No.
Thank you.
I have
Right.
no reason
Okay.
for it.
Comments, we do have the Weber Pumpkin Festival coming up. That is this coming weekend, Saturday the 21st, and that's from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the evening. And then we have Sunday, the 22nd, and that's from 9 in the morning till 5 o'clock. And also, my wife and I, we will be doing the Hooven Halloween decorating contest for Hooven, which we do that every year. And then the trustees, we will do Peggy will do the Christmas. The 3 trustees will do the Christmas for all of Whitewater. But I think, Diane, I might be reaching out to you, see if you want to be a judge, if you're going to come up there and look around. So I'll reach out to you if you want to, you and somebody else, because it's usually just me and my wife, and we got a race that weekend, and we're going to bring some of the racers over from IOK to do some judging as well, because they raced that weekend. So with that, IOK does have a race over there, Chief, so you guys know, coming next weekend. They had a big race canceled out of Brookville, so everybody's probably going to show for that, just so you guys know. Following weekend, the Halloween weekend, it'll be October 27, 28, Friday and Saturday. Yeah, they're going to be racing Friday and Saturday. They do have a haunted house this year at IOK for that event, so they're going to put on a Halloween show, a haunted house. Yes.
I have a meeting tomorrow with the Miami Town Improvement Civic Association. Can you tell me more elaborate on what the Christmas decorations is there like rules or regulations, or is it residents, is it businesses?
Oh, it's, well, I think just residents, no business. So, but I do encourage all the businesses to, but we're only doing houses. So it's going to be a residence is who we would, so we have 3 areas. We have Hooven and Eat Town and one down along
Well, Riverview Crossing,
Riverview-
Bond Road, and
Yeah.
Morgan Road. So it's basically a southern, central, and then northern
there a
Miami
deadline
town
date?
area.
Do you have an old map from last year? I could send one to Peggy and get it to you, what the breakdown looks like.
That'd be good.
But it's only residents, but, I mean, we can take it further, but I mean, the businesses we encourage.
But we have a lot of residents in our group,
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
spread.
And the only difference in the division is just where Doug stops judging and I begin, and then where
Right.
I stop and Guy begins. We each just kind of judge our local area.
Right.
But there's no, like, particular theme, it's just Christmas.
Just Christmas.
It's just, and this is something that's the three trustees, Doug started it, and it's just something we're doing. It's not, Whitewater Township doesn't pay a penny of this.
Right.
Each of us choose
And what is the winner?
who
that
we
you
thought
choose
was the
get?
best looking
Or gift
display, and
cards. I
then
think
we,
gift cards are like $30 for first.
yeah, we give a first and second
As soon
place
as
gift card.
Halloween's over, I put it in, we put it on the website, and then we put it in the neighborhood, the Whitewater Township neighborhood. It goes out. I just posted the Halloween a couple weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, our sign's almost ready. I don't know if you guys have seen it down there. Diane has some advertisement about the windows on it right now, but we have the marquee that it should be done by the middle of November so that we can put information on it.
Okay.
So,
No, that'd
right,
be
thank you.
perfect. Yeah. The only thing I have is for Halloween. Halloween is on a Tuesday. Trick or treating will start at 6. I don't know if we've posted that yet. It'll go from 6 to 8 for Whitewater. I think everybody's 6 o'clock. So 6 to 8, Chief, is what we'll do. And Chief, just so you guys can let your department know, I'd like to be able to block that little alley off right there at my house because I do a little haunted house inside our little pole barn we have out back, and you guys are welcome to come down to hand out candy if you want, and I'm sure, you know, they're all going to be cooking food down there as well. So we will do a haunted house in that area. You guys okay? I block that off. It's just safer for the kids. There's a route around around it, so we just put cones up. So, and then Diane, I'll take you up if you can get you another judge to help you out, you or 2 others, and you guys can do the voting and just write the address down, and that way it kind of takes me out of the loop. So I haven't seen a whole lot up because I think they've been kind of waiting with the bad weather. Some did it so early their decorations kind of fell apart. So other than that, I think that's all I had. This is a busy month for Whitewater Township. A lot happens in October, and then everything kind of slows down.
Just in regards to your closing the alley, I'll just give you my blanket approval to close it as needed for your
Right,
functions.
Yeah.
You know, they're all community involved, so
Yeah.
you've got my blanket approval to close
I
as
appreciate
needed.
it. What we do is we block the alley right where my house is because we do football games, and everybody's invited to come by. There's football games, all the kids come by, and we do Halloween, and, you know, we do all kinds of stuff there. So the fire department, the sheriff's department has been really good, and the trustees allowing my wife and I to do that. Kind of gets the kids out of their house a little bit. Only thing bad thing is them kids start showing up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they don't leave till the street lights come on. They just hang out, and, you know, which at least we know where they're at, so that's a good thing. Anything, Jim, comments?
No, I'm good.
Peggy, you need anything?
I was just looking out, usually trick or treat is 6 and 9.
6 to 8.
Whatever Harrison is, what we've always followed.
What is Harrison? Yeah, they're all 6 to 8. Yeah, it's 6 to 8. Yep. 6 to 8. Yeah, my wife's already been looking at all that, so she's all over it. Yeah, because we're always trying to during the week we're trying to get home and get everything set up. And okay, anything else?
I would like to make a motion, we adjourn.
Yep, I second that. Voice vote.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yeah.